But we begin with the controversy over a Detroit police cruiser slamming straight into protesters. Welcome to 7 Action News at 5. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Alan Campbell. Detroit Police Chief James Craig telling us some of the protesters were hostile and smashed out the back of a window of a cruiser. Well, that's when officers thought they were being fired on, hitting the gas and slamming into the crowd of protesters. Right now, we are looking at a Detroit Will Breathe rally that we're going to show you in just a moment. Organizers demanding answers from the department. 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig on the scene. So, Kim, what have you learned and what are people telling you?
Well, Carolyn, right now, Detroit police, let you take a look behind me here. They've actually set up barricades around the building here, and you can see protesters over there in the distance. The organizers with the group, Detroit Will Breathe, are here demanding that the officer who drove through the crowd yesterday be identified, charged with a crime, and fired. They also want Chief Craig, who is defending his officers, to resign.
There was an effort to block the pathway of the police car. In fact, several members from the protest group of this 25 to 30 who were exhibiting violent behavior jumped on the hood of the car.
Detroit Police Chief James Craig defending the officer protesters accused of crossing the line and driving into them Sunday evening.
But I was looking directly in that officer's eyes. He was looking directly in my eyes. And he had a smirk on his face, like he was enjoying this. He didn't look afraid. He didn't look like he was fearing his life or he was trying to escape a situation. He looked like he was actually enjoying the possibility of actually injuring Black lives.
Chief Craig says they had information that some of those who started out protesting turned into agitators and had hammers. When you see the officer accelerate, Chief Craig says the officer feared for his safety.
Once they heard the back window or rear window smash, it was very loud. They was not certain that they were not being fired upon. So it was important for them to get out of there for their safety and certainly the safety of others. So that's where you see in the video that they accelerated to get out of there in the event they were being fired upon.
Those protesting say the conflict began when police were trying to redirect their path.
It was just completely unnecessary. So being the movement that we are, we decided to go straight through the roadblock.
Another important point, that as the officers were trying to move cautiously through initially, there were a number from that same group that were trying to gain access to the inside of the police vehicle where the officers were.
They were being aggressive the entire day. And I think what we saw at the end of the evening was they felt, because it was dark and there was no one watching, they could take that opportunity to release their anger.
The officers were in a bad situation. It could have been a lot worse.
And we do have crews here covering this rally and press conference by Detroit Will Breathe that just began at 5 o'clock. So stay with WXYZ for updates throughout the evening. And police also said there were no arrests or reports of any injuries last night. Reporting live in Southwest Detroit, Kimberly Craig, 7 Action News.
Kim, I got to ask you a quick question because I know you got a chance to talk to some of those protesters. They were jumping on the police car. Did they say anything about that? Like, why did they jump on the police car or why they started surrounding the police car? Anybody say anything about that, or they just felt like they were totally in the right?
The ones that I talked to, that because we do see in one of the police videos that there appears to be somebody jumping on a police car but you can't really see the person's face. It's kind of blocked by a sign. But the people that we talked to say that they were actually in front of the police car and they were forced almost to jump onto the police car in order to get away. Now that does not explain that, like you said, the video that you see where you see other people actually jumping on to the police vehicle. But again, you know, there's a lot of people have a lot of differing opinions on exactly what happened out there.
Absolutely. Always two sides to the story, right? Thank you so much, Kim, as always, for the live report.